Canada has given us some of the most spectacular stages and races in the sport's history. This season, we've already raced in Percé on the Atlantic coast. Now, the riders are ready for the ATSX 500 in Le Massif de Charlevoix.
Welcome to Canada, welcome to the province of Quebec, and welcome to the Red Bull Ice Cross World Championship. I'm your host, Troy Mannering, and today we bring you an ATSX 500 race from the beautiful ski area Le Massif de Charlevoix, just outside historic Quebec City. As we near the end of the season with 3 races remaining, the championship points are close. Today will be a determining factor for our top riders, and the matchups here will undoubtedly be full of action and suspense. 8 of 11 ATSX ice cross races are in the history books. We've been to Austria, to France, the USA, Finland, and Japan, and the racing has not disappointed. But what is this ice cross you speak of, Troy? Well, watch this clip to learn more about the fastest sport on skates.
The rules are the same across the sport. 4 riders go head-to-head, and the fastest 2 advance until 4 are left standing in the final. First to cross the line in the final wins. You can protect your line during the race against the other 3 in your heat, but pushing, shoving, holding, or any other unsportsmanlike behaviour will get you disqualified. At these speeds, riders must also wear protective gear to ensure their safety before they're allowed to race. The World Championship is made up of 3 levels, the smaller ATSX 250 events giving riders their first taste of international racing. The ATSX 500 events, where more points bring an even higher level of competition, and the pinnacle of the sport, the ATSX 1000 races, worth a maximum of 1,000 points towards the World Championship. In March, after 12 races across the Northern Hemisphere, we will crown the junior, women's and men's world champions.
Since 2017, the gentleman sitting to my right has provided us with scintillating track runs and expert insights. So I'm stoked to have Reed Whiting in the box with me once again.
Thanks a lot, Troy. This is shaping to be up an incredible ATSX 500 race. The track is blazing fast. The upper sections are going to cause all-out dogfights in the first few corners. And this certainly levels the playing field, as it will come down to a little bit of talent, a lot of guts, and no doubt avoiding the ruts.
Well, this beautiful and natural backdrop of Le Massif de Charlevoix here in Quebec is in vast contrast to our last event in Japan. This ATSX 500-point race rests in the idyllic setting of a lovely ski area, whereas the previous ATSX 1000-point race was smack dab in the middle of the bustling metropolis of Yokohama.
Second season in a row, Yokohama in Japan hosted a big ATSX 1000 event. Both Amanda Trinzo and Jacqueline Leger, the favourites in the women's event, made it to the final, but couldn't quite keep up with the fast-starting Maxie Plante.
Maxie Plante wins and Jacqueline Leger gets second place.
Been doing this for many years now. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time, and I'm really happy to be here.
Drama in the men's semi-final when championship leader Luca Delago was pushed by Scott Proxel. The Canadian was disqualified, but Delago was still out of the final, costing him valuable points towards the World Championship. The men's final was a close battle between reigning world champion Cameron Nard and last year's runner-up Kyle Proxel from Canada.
Oh my God! That's definitely going to go to a photo finish.
A lot of races tonight, and yeah, pumped I could pull it off against good friends and in a good heat.
Well, a lot's happened in the standings since the start of our season. Cameron Nass now atop the standings, and that's an interesting position for him to be in, Reed, because he knows what it is to be up there, but he's not that far ahead of Kyle Croxall and Luca Delago.
No, everything's real tight this year, more than we've seen in the past few, so it's really anybody's battle in the top 3.
Well, after Yokohama, a shift in the standings has Luca Delago dropping from first to third place in dramatic fashion, while Kyle Croxall, with a little help from his brother, moves into second, and the reigning champ, that man right there, takes over top spot. There we see Luca Delago getting ready for his heat later on in this round of 32. It's going to be a real tough job for all of these guys, because we know that Luca's very fast, and he had the fastest time during the time trials on this particular course, so he's looking very good, but he's going to have to contend with some big bodies out there.
Yeah, Luca's really looked incredible this whole season. Really unfortunate of kind of the cheap shot move from Kyle. I mean, Scott Croxall in the last race took him completely out of competition and could have took his title away of the World Championship, as he was in first place. So that was unfortunate, but let's see if he can come back in style.
All right. And, of course, there you see Kyle Croxall. He's a man that's searching for his second World Championship title in as many years that he's been racing. And, of course, Stephen Cox, the local hero here. He's been my dark horse for years, and he's finally, in Japan, made the top tier of the racing and pulled off third place.
Yeah, Stephen Cox is an interesting cat. I mean, he is extremely talented, doesn't do a lot of training in the offseason. He's busy with building pump tracks, doing other extreme sports all around the world, but he's a guy that really could pull on anything here, and it'd be amazing to see if he put a lot of time and energy into the summer, how good he would do in the sport.
And there we see Maxie Plante left in the blue, and she's not in the hunt for a World Championship title, but she did play spoiler in Yokohama, winning her first major, stealing 1,000 points from the leading women. Speaking of the leading women, look at the overall standings here. Jacqueline Legere has been solidly out in front in the overall. The reigning world champion Amanda Trunzo sitting just a few points back in second. Miriam Trepanier, who won't be skating anymore this season, sits in third. And Anaïs Morin, who looked very good from the start of the season, was the fastest skater in the time trials here as well.
And then go to the VT.
All right, well, all of these racers that you've just met will have a vastly different track here in Le Massif. Let's look a little bit deeper into this track with our track graphic and our POV run.
The track in Le Massif de Charlevoix, Quebec looks to be a beauty. At 410 meters, it's one of the longer courses of the season. Out of the start, riders have to set up for the tricky left-to-right dogleg, which is followed immediately by a meter-high drop. Then comes a hard brake check and back-to-back 180-degree corners at the double diamond chicane. As they careen towards the long and loopy S-bend, they'll need to hold as much speed as they can for the awesome apparel hip jump. After that, the course opens up through the double table and the long ski jump. Jockeying for position and looking for the best line at the leg killer rollers is the name of the game for the final push to the finish line.
Let's do this La Massif up here in Quebec, Canada. And we are striding down the start. Basically, this is going to come down to who has the most guts to come full speed into this first turn. And through this chicane, it's going to get super tight here. Oh. Wow, almost went down. We got these big rollers. I'm gaining speed, trying to keep going through this S turn because I got this big hip coming, and I got to hit it perfect. Pick up my knees, and that is incredible. I almost hit the boards. Now it's full speed down the hill. We got these two big rollers. Legs are burning, and we are coming through the last turn. Wow, this track is fast. Gonna jump this last section. Woohoo! And that was a beautiful thing, baby. Red Bull Ice Cross World Championship. Coming here at La Massif. It's gonna get sketchy and fun, baby. Let's do this.
Reed, that was your run from earlier on today when the track was still more or less in good conditions. We've already had the round of 64 go through. It's beat to bits. Talk a bit about how that's going to affect the riders, in particular gate choice.
Yeah, really it's a gamble down there. I mean, there's so many places in this track. It's getting a little bit soft and rutted up. If you take the wrong stride in the wrong place, I mean, you are completely taking yourself out of the race. So, damn, this track's almost like a casino today. We'll see.
It's a Russian roulette track for our athletes. But, you know, it's a beautiful day here in Le Massif de Charlevoix. There's a lot of people on hand. It is still cold. It's -5, -6 degrees Celsius, but you could see beautiful blue sky, some fluffy white clouds, making it really idyllic. There you see -3 degrees, so it's actually warmed up. The sun is shining down, and that is also affecting the track conditions here. Although it is below zero, that sun shining directly on the track definitely makes it difficult to keep that ice intact throughout the round. So we've already gone through the round of 64. Now jumping into the round of 32, our first heat, we'll see Marco Delago up against Matt Johnson, Max Neymark, and Louis-Philippe Dumoulin. And there we see Marco Delago, also a former world champion. He knows what's required to be on the podium. He was one of the first guys to really focus on the gate starts and actually get out of the gate quickly. And we've seen in the last few years, Reed, that that has become a definite factor in how to win these races. Also in the mix in this one, we've got Matt Johnson, who's very quick, and he's right there shoulder to shoulder with Marco Delago as they come towards that double diamond chicane. And Matt Johnson trying to sneak on the inside, but they are packed right together. Marco Delago sneaks in there just behind Matt Johnson, who's now in first place. And down towards that awesome apparel hip jump. This is going to be a critical point. Marco Delago made the pass up a little higher. Now he's opening up the gap a bit. Matt Johnson holding down that second position, but he's being challenged right now by Bruno Richard, but it doesn't, Louis-Philippe Dumoulin, but he's not going to make it. Matt Johnson manages to come across that finish line in second place, just behind Marco Delago. So first and second places, if you're not familiar with this format, move on to the next round. Third and fourth places are eliminated from contention.
Yeah, here we can see how tight it's going to get all day long in that double chicane turn. Everybody's just off to the races coming out of there. Now we see Marco made a real nice pass on Johnson as he left the door open in that last corner. You can see everybody clearing the awesome apparel hip jump. And Marco is off to the races. Great heat. One of the first ones we've seen everybody stay on their feet all day.
Yeah. All right, so it's official. Marco Delago and Matt Johnson moving on to the quarterfinal from this round of 32. A real fair race as well. Not a lot of pawing and pushing and shoving, so nice to see that as we head to our tunnel. And we still have to load our second quarterfinal heat in this round of 32, and it's going to come from this group right here with John Fisher, Robin Whirling, Olivier Larouche, and Andrew Whirling, the two Whirling brothers in the mix here, who have been a surprise for both of us, actually.
Yeah, side by side there, I'm sure the brothers are pretty fired up to be racing each other right now.
Olivier Larouche on the right-hand side surprised Jojo Velasquez in their heat earlier on and actually managed to come across the finish line in second place. And he's a very fast, very good skater, but John Fisher's no slouch either. Now, keep an eye on the guy in the pink shirt. He is so sneaky when it comes to passing, and you can see already he's trying to find that line. He's got himself his jersey tied up in the back there, which looks kind of funny from the shot from behind. He's sitting in third place right now, but he definitely has the ability to pass. As out in front, it's Robin Whirling and then Andrew Whirling in second place, but here comes Fish. Great gliders, he gets down low. Nice pass around the outside by Fisher as he moves into second place to perhaps eliminate Robin Whirling from it, or excuse me, Andrew Whirling, and he does do it. Robin Whirling, great start by him, held the line and stayed out in front, and John Fisher was in fourth place at a point there and managed to come across and take second. And we were talking about those greasy passes of his.
Yeah, we were kind of joking there about his little jersey knot there. But in reality, this track at the bottom really comes down to aerodynamics. You can see once he gets through all this muck here, he gets really low and kind of almost is drafting a bit. You'll see him kind of tuck down. And as he's doing that, he is definitely gaining speed. See him there, no strides, and he just eases into a very nice pass. That's all aerodynamics. When you're getting that high speed, you really need to stay low and avoid that wind, and it worked out for him at the end.
All right, great job by John Fisher and Robin Whirling. They'll be joining Marco Delago and Matt Johnson in quarterfinal heat number 1 as we start to set things up for our later rounds. We're going to move back to the top of our course and check out the next heat, which is an interesting one because we have a local hero in here, Stephen Cox, along with Daniel Guola, Michael Urban, and Nathan Isaac. Stephen Cox is he's a local legend here. He does their summer mountain bike courses, builds the pump tracks here. He's always on the boards or on the skis in the winter. And of course, he got 3rd place in his first ever major event in Japan. So let's see how he does here for the home crowd. Ooh, a little bit of a slow start by Cox, trying to find his space here behind Danny Guola, and he slips into 2nd place. Here comes Michael Urban around the inside. Oh, Urban goes down, almost takes out Cox. Cox managed to avoid the carnage. He seems to be pretty good at that, Reed, avoiding drama on course.
Yeah, I mean, remember he took that full leap over somebody in Mont de Lac. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, Danny Guola as well. All right, Danny Guola out in front. Stephen Cox right there with him in 2nd place. They've got a good solid lead on Michael Urban, but it's not over. Urban still trying to find some pressure. Cox goes across the line, flying through the air over the finish line, which is actually on the 2nd roller. So Danny Guola is going to take this one, but I think it's by a hair on his chinny chin chin. Stephen Cox, gets in there 2nd. Let's watch this again. Oh, a little bit of hesitation by Cox.
Yeah, Guola had an awesome start there. As you said, Cox hesitated. Now let's watch Michael Urban come into this chicane. He actually came in wide, carried a lot of speed through, thought he had a little gap, but hit that rut in the inside and just completely took him out of the race. For them, it was easy go for Guola and Cox as they kind of coasted down with really no competition till the very end.
Well, it's just like you mentioned earlier on, the ruts in that track are taking out people left, right, and center, so I'm sure it's going to get even crazier as we move farther on in the rounds. All right, so Danny Guola and Stephen Cox moving on to the quarterfinals as we get back up to the top. And there you see Michael Iulianello, Mirko Latti, Shane Renaud, Skylar Diamond-Berchik, Michael Iggy Iulianello, very quick rider, good long strides by him usually. Mirko Latti, former junior world champion, he's looking to jump up and make an effect in the men's rounds. He's also quick out of the gate, but Shane Renaud has been a good surprise this year as a good starter, but he's in an egregious position there, but he avoids that big gash in the ice and tries to slip into 2nd place. Oh, and down goes Iggy and gives it up to Shane Renaud, who is in 2nd place now. Skylar Diamond-Berchik holding down 3rd. Iggy's going to have to use those long legs of his to catch up, and he does a good job of catching up to Berchik, but he gets a little bit too hot in that one corner, and he seems to be struggling trying to find the edge. Meanwhile, Mirko Latti from Finland out in front. Shane Renaud in 2nd place. Hopefully he'll stay on his feet. And here comes Diamond-Berchik with a great pass on the inside right at the finish line.
Oh.
And it's going to go to Skylar Diamond-Berchik. And a fantastic comeback from Michael Iulianello. It may have to go to a photo finish between those two guys as they came around that corner. And I think both of them actually relegated Shane Renaud back to 4th place. We're going to have to wait for the final results here and see if there is, in fact, a photo finish.
Yeah, we can see right there, Iggy went down in that first chicane. Now, it appeared like there was no coming back. I mean, you got a group of good riders in front of you, and it was just an all-out battle with Shane Renaud getting past right at the last minute and Iggy jumping over the finish line. Now, let's see here. No, Berchik did take that one with Iggy going head first across the line. Shane Renaud is probably in disbelief.
He's kicking himself.
Yeah, I mean, he took it a little easy down the track. Those guys just were on his tail and made that last-minute pass.
Yeah, Shane Renaud was so solid at the top there, finding a good position, and he was in 2nd place right to the finish line. And then the other two guys, Mirko Latti and Skylar Diamond-Berchik, Skylar Diamond-Berchik and Iggy powered in. All right, here we go. Next heat in the blocks up at the top. Luca Delago, who we mentioned off the top of our show, did hold down top spot in the overall standings until Japan. Alex Mercier, along with Michael Romano and Joey Velasquez. Joey, who we saw had a fantastic start earlier on, has obviously been looking forward to this race, and he's in that hardcore rider's left lane there. Great start by Luca Delago. As expected, he moves out in front. Joey Velasquez slips into 3rd place, now 4th as he loses an edge and goes down, and Mercier is sitting in 3rd place. Joey Velasquez has got a lot of work cut out for him. He's about 15-20 meters back with these guys motoring downhill. Michael Romano sitting in second place, a little bit sketchy over that awesome apparel hip jump. Meanwhile, Luca Delago, looking very relaxed out on course, has opened up the lead on Michael Romano and Alex Mercier, and now it's going to come down to a battle for two. Oh, it's going to go to Michael Romano, but I do believe we're going to have photo finish on that one as well. It's all up in the air until our officials say, yes, that's the score at the end, but a nice clean win by Luca Delago there.
Yeah, you can see Joey Velasquez went down really early. This was really a race for the 2 spot with Mercier and Romano going head-to-head. It looked like at the end here, Mercier was going to come through, but I think Romano got it by a toe. Let's watch it here. Oh, that was close. You know, this track is really shaping up to have some good finishes. I wasn't really expecting that with the long speed kind of section at the end, but guys are making some moves and making it exciting.
So Michael Romano, by a size 47 shoe, gets the second place and moves on to the quarterfinals, along with Luca Delago. Heat number 6 coming up here, and we have the reigning world champion, Cameron Naas, 3-time world champion, along with Gabe Renault, Maxime, and Sam Nadeau are also in this one. Sam Nadeau is in that rough gate on the far right-hand side of your screen, and there is our reigning world champion. Cameron Naas out of the gate quickly. He wants to pad his score with a win here, and if he can win this event, he'll add 500 points to his overall standings. Let's just see how he's doing, because in the time trials, he wasn't so fast, Reed.
He's sure looking good now.
Yeah, he's way opened up way out in front now. Gabriel Renault in second place, about good 10 meters back on Cameron Naas. It looks like Cam took a look back, and he's basically coasting now as Maxime Nadeau goes down. Sam Nadeau sitting in third place.
Yeah, there's just no reason to take chances at this point with these ice conditions.
Cameron Naas, an easy win for him. Made it look a bit too easy. He's going to have to put some pressure on to make the other guys feel like they can keep up. Gabe Renault comes across that in second place. It was a good battle back here. Maxime Nadeau gets the worst of it over that awesome apparel hip jump. And Sam Nadeau, unfortunately, those two guys are going to be eliminated, and Cameron Naas and Gabe Renault will be moving on to the next round.
Yeah, that hip is a real tough feature. If you take that with too much speed, you're definitely going into the boards, just like we saw Maxime Nadeau. It's going to be interesting if we get 4 guys coming over that at once. It's going to be
carnage.
Carnage.
It's a good word, huh?
Yeah.
All right, next heat, Kyle Croxall, 2012 world champion, along with Antti Tolvanen, who we talk about a lot as being one of the most interesting characters out there. Levi Nakari on the far right-hand side in pink is vying for a junior world championship title. And Bruno Richard, he's an old dog on this one. He's been around this scene for a long time. Let's see how he manages to hold his own in this group. One thing we've talked about a lot, and we seem to harp on it, is the starts of Kyle Croxall have gotten so good in the last couple of years. But look at this kid, Levi Nakari, not letting the big man get too far away from him. Antti Tolvanen sitting in third place. He's always a threat. And as we said, he's a bit of a crazy skater, but he always seems to manage to stay in the mix, and he seems to be a smart competitor.
He really is. I mean, like you said, he's kind of goofy going on the track, but he gets it done. He is really fast out there. As you see
and
him
he made the pass.
Make a really good pass with the finish.
Fantastic pass right around that last finish corner. And that means Antti Tolvanen will be joining Kyle Croxall in the next round. Levi Nakari, who looked really good in second place this whole race, got passed in those last few meters. I think that just comes from experience as well. Yeah,
Antti's a veteran competitor. I mean, I remember years ago his first race, you know, looking a little unorthodox, but he has really impressed me over the years. His progression every year, he keeps getting better and better, and he's smarter on the track. You can see he's just kind of biding his time here, stays low and makes a real nice move in that outside corner for the win.
So there you go, Kyle Croxall, Antti Tolvanen moving on to the quarterfinals. And we have one more heat to go in the round of 32. That's heat number 8 as we take a look at the first 2 athletes that will be locked down in quarterfinal heat number 4. Next heat coming up in the round of 32, Cale Johnstone, Patrick Mertz, Simon Gagnon, and Justin Doherty. Cale Johnstone, threatened to color the handlebars of his mustache and then cut them off and sell them on the open market. We'll see if that actually happens.
I'm sure that will get a lot of bids.
Yeah, well, people are buying old guys' underwear, so anything can happen, right?
Have you seen how greasy his mustache is?
I don't want to go there, but
I wouldn't want to touch it.
as far as skating, he's a good competitor. Let's see how he does here today. Wow, great start from Justin Docherty. Moves into the first position there as he hits that.
Mers is down and
Oh,
back.
yeah. Mertz goes down early on. And Docherty trying to find the line. Hey, Cale Johnstone just powered through that whole mess up there. Justin Docherty now battling it with Simon Gagnon. And Simon Gagnon has come out ahead of Docherty. Docherty goes a little bit hot over the awesome apparel hip jump, and Cale Johnstone well on his own out in front. But here comes Simon Gagnon trying to catch up with Cale Johnstone, and that's a real close finish. That was a good push from behind by Simon Gagnon.
Yeah, this is a big race for Cale Johnstone. He was eliminated early, did not make the final 64 in Japan, so he had a bone to pick here and wanted to really come out and kill it. Got 6th or 7th qualifying, looking unreal today. Look at that stride, just powering through this corner. I always got to mention Simon Gagnon too, an old veteran guy, hasn't been around for a while. He is from Quebec. Coming into the quarters, I'm sure he is happy today as he makes a nice pass in Doherty right there.
Yeah, so a great race there by Cale Johnstone, who's got his own fan club along for the ride, and he's going to be joined by Simon Gagnon in the next round. And we'll take a quick look at our tunnel here as we check out the quarterfinal heat number 4, Kyle Croxall, Antti Tolvanen, Cale Johnstone, and Simon Gagnon.
Clean out in 10 seconds.
So there you see our quarterfinals are locked and loaded. 4 heats of 4 riders each. It should be interesting as they get a little bit more intense the closer we get to our big final. And as you said earlier on, Reed, the course here looking beautiful, rutted up and crazy, still cold, the weather's awesome, and the crowd here is pretty good as well.
Yeah, you know, they love ice cross in Quebec. I mean, been coming up here for probably 15 years. Usually the events in Quebec City, we've had a couple natural tracks in Quebec in the past few years too. I mean, it's just really a growing sport here consistently. New riders are always coming in and the fans just love it.
Yeah, and Le Massif de Charlevoix is a fantastic resort as well. So everybody seems to be enjoying themselves up here. And right now, we're going to go down to the finish area where John Fisher is with Caroline de Moraes.
John, at one point you were in 4th, but you managed to take it and you're into the quarterfinals. How was that?
You just got to stay patient. The speeds are so high, you can draft your way back to 1st. And it's just a fun, fast course.
What is it? You said it's fun, you said it's fast, but what makes it so tricky on this course?
Right now the conditions are rough. There's hard spots, tough spots, and really the biggest challenge out there is the competitors. They're so fast.
Is there a particular rival that you're looking out for?
These whirling brothers, we travel together, we have fun together, but we both leave it all out on the course.
Very nice. And now, of course, I've got to say,
All right, lost her in the middle of a question there. I don't know if that was supposed to come back to us or not, but nevertheless, interesting comments, and he basically just reflected what you said about the course earlier. Soft spots, hard spots, lots of ruts, and that's definitely going to take a toll. All right, you can also follow us on Facebook at Red Bull Ice Cross and Instagram, hashtag Red Bull Ice Cross, and of course, icecross.com to find out all you want about our athletes and our races around the world. So after 18 races in 5 years on the Ice Cross World Championship, Maxie Plante has always been in the mix, just never taking that next step to the top of the podium. This season, she placed 3rd in the ATSX 250 in Percé and won in Yokohama. What happened and what did she do to prepare? We'll find out now in a quick ski tour with Maxie.
do a sport that was going to take me everywhere around the globe, and especially so close together. One day I'm in Japan, the same day I'm back in Canada, which is super weird, but it's really fun. It's a great experience. I was really surprised. I didn't expect to get out and leave Japan with a win.
Another good start by Maxie Plante. She takes the early hole shot.
I actually had no idea how close behind me they were. I just knew I had to keep on going, keep on pushing all the way to the finish line.
Oh my goodness! Amanda goes down. That means Maxie Plante wins it.
When I crossed the finish line, turned around, and realized I got the win, and it was a pretty crazy feeling. I've been way further north than here. I live in Yellowknife. Minus 40s are casual there. We spend the entire winter freezing and trying to get our cars started. It's a really nice day out here right now, actually. I'm a pilot, so I fly airplanes all over the north of Canada. We fly for the mines, we fly groceries around. There's ice roads right now, so we bring the workers in and out, so we land on ice, and I've been to most of those places that nobody probably even know they exist, so it's pretty cool. I've really been looking forward to this race. The track looks amazing, it looks fast. I think it's going to be a really good time. I don't want to put any pressure on myself. We'll see what happens. I'm just going to give my best.
That overhead view of that track is just spectacular. I mean, it's such a nice track here in Le Massif de Charlevoix.
Yeah, it's incredible looking over that St. Lawrence River. I mean, you couldn't really ask for a better backdrop to this
Definitely
event.
not. All right, moving on to our women's racing quarterfinal action coming up in our first heat. Anaïs Morin from Switzerland will be going up against Dominique Lefebvre from Canada, Samantha Mavison from the U.S., and Susanna Driscoll from the U.S. Anaïs there, all white with the Swiss cross on her helmet, the red helmet. She was one of the favorites to take an overall this season, but she struggled a little bit in Japan, lost a few points, and now she's going to try and catch back up. Great start by the former Olympic skater Anaïs, out in front with a huge lead into that first corner. And now it's all about maintaining that position as we get a little bit of a crash going on into that double diamond chicane. Anaïs Morin out in front. Dominique Lefebvre right behind her. Samantha Mavison. Oh, Samantha Mavison spins out, absolutely losing an edge there, leaving the gate wide open for Anaïs and Dominique out in front. Anaïs opting to style out some of the jumps a little bit. She's obviously feeling very confident and comfortable on this course. Nice and low across the finish line, and there is that typical clap that she loves to do as coming across the finish line, winning that one. She'll move on to the semifinals.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what this little scissor kick move she's doing is, but she must believe it's working for her, so more power to her. You can see Mavison had some difficulty, as a lot of people have. If you get on the inside of that chicane too much, the ice is just destroyed there, and it is not a good thing. You can see Mavison going down again here, just difficulty through and through for her. But a good run by Anaïs and Dominique Lefebvre. Moving on.
All right, so semifinal heat number one has our first two athletes set. We need to find out who's going to be joining them in that semifinal. From the next heat coming up, Justine Zona from Latvia, along with Jacqueline Legere. She's a former world champion. She's currently atop the leaderboard. Clemence Renaud and Michelle Mulder in this one as well.
Yeah, fun fact on Clem Renaud, her brother actually competes in the men's, boyfriend of Luca Delago, and apparently she listens to Baby Shark the whole way down the track because that gets her fired up.
All right, a good start by Jacqueline Legere. Justine Zona slips into second place behind her. Jacqueline has so much experience, and I mean, she's so good on her skates. She's a stunt woman in her normal day job, and that shows how she controls the adrenaline and the fear factor in some of these courses. And a big battle going on right there. Oh, great move by Clemence Renaud as she moves into second place.
Wow, that was unexpected.
Clemence Renaud A bit of a pizza stop there to slow down a bit, and it was Michelle Mulder who actually made the initial pass, but there was some drama up at the top. Jacqueline Legere wins this one by a stretch. Clemence Renault coming across in second. Michelle Mulder coming across on her belly, and unfortunately for Justine Zona, she comes across in fourth place, and it looks like she's favoring that right arm. Hopefully she's okay, but Jacqueline Legere and
yeah, great run by Jacqueline, as you said there, Troy. I mean, she is really showing her dominance. She wants that world championship. It's been a couple years since she's been on the top, and this year is just a completely different athlete. You see in the back there, as both Zona and Mulder got tied up into some ruts, which opened the door for Clem Renault to take the win.
All right. So Jacqueline Legere and Clemence Renault moving on to semifinal number 1. She'll be joined, or they'll be joining Anaïs Morin and Dominique Lefebvre. Quarterfinal number 3, and we have the reigning world champion for women in there, and that is Amanda Trunzo, along with Veronica Vindish. They're holding down those 2 middle gates. Veronica Vindish highly motivated, as she's been looking very good this year. Bianca Lott and Virginie Hulette also in there with these women. Bianca Lott, great start on the outside, and you know Bianca from back in the days in Montulac.
Yeah, she was actually one of the original girls to come to our kids cross events at Montulac about 4 or 5 years ago. Awesome to see her continue with the sport and actually come up here to Quebec to compete.
And she's just 16 years old, sitting in 3rd place at the moment, and she got a little bit of room to improve, definitely, but you can see the talent is there. Meanwhile, Amanda Trunzo holding down this one with Veronica Vindish from Austria right behind her. And we're going to definitely see those 2 women in the semifinal, and Veronica Vindish will be pushing hard to try and take that next step. She's very good. She's very fast out of the gate. She gets a little bit shaky in some of those rough conditions, but you can see it's not going to take much for her to really absorb into the next phase of her ice cross career.
No question. Here's that chicane corner that's been causing everybody a lot of difficulty. Luckily, nobody got tied up in the ruts here. You can see Bianca Lott really competing at only 16 years old. Pretty amazing. She's doing what she's doing out here with the big girls. But there we see Trunzo obviously going for her 3rd world championship. It's going to be a battle here.
Definitely. Jacqueline Legere still holding down the top spot in the overall standings by a few points, but Amanda Trunzo is not so far behind that she can't catch up, and a win here today will definitely help her along the way. So there you see Amanda and Veronica moving on to semifinal heat number 2, and we've got one more quarterfinal heat to go, and that one has Maxie Plante, who we've heard from earlier. Her starts have been incredible this year. I mean, we've seen 2 times that her starts have been just really quick out of the gate. Alicia Blomberg, Monica Boudreau, and Pauline Chapuis. It should be no problem for Maxie Plante as long as she doesn't get tangled up with anybody. She's in a good gate position. Here we go. And again, Maxie Plante with a fantastic start, pulling out of the gate and opening up a nice wide lead into that double diamond chicane. Trying to avoid any drama. Although she looks like she's got Alicia Blomberg right on her.
Yeah, it looked to me like Maxie, after she exploded at the start, she kind of just locked in, didn't keep striding too much, maybe just watching out for those ruts, as she's seen a lot of people take diggers early on, but she looks real smooth. She's definitely going to be competing for the top spot today.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're going to definitely see her in the semifinal. There's pretty much no doubt about it, as she comes across that finish line in 1st place with Alicia Blomberg. So a great race for Maxie Plante, again coming out of the gate very, very strong. And she's showing us something this year, that's for sure.
Here we see the chicane, having some difficulties in the ruts. And Blomberg, though, right on the tail the whole way down of Maxie Plante.
All right, so good job by Maxie Plante and Alicia Blomberg to move on to the semifinal. So we'll be seeing those women a little bit later on. We're going to move back to quarterfinal action for our men. So Amanda Trunzo, Veronica Vindish, Maxie Plante, Alicia Blomberg in semifinal heat number 2. So we do have our 2 semifinals set for our women. And as we get closer, the adrenaline rises. Controlling that adrenaline is going to be important for all of these athletes. So we saw Kyle Croxall earlier on racing, looking very solid in 2012. He was the world champion, and he's seen and done it all in ice cross. He's been around in racing since before the start of the world championship in 2010 and is still relevant today, going up against the new motivated talent. He's up next.
Kyle Croxall comes to win.
I've been in it for 12 years now, and my first event was in Quebec City in 2008. Those really big, steep starts, the first time going down it, I mean, everyone was pretty nervous up there, but just had to kind of drop in and go for it. It worked out. The World Championship, I think, started in 2010. After that, it got a lot bigger, and there was 4 races and then more to come after that, so it was definitely a lot more of a challenge. You have to go to every race to gain all the points to have a chance pretty much in the World Championship now. The whole career has been great, so much travel, a lot of places that I never would have gone. Just racing and meeting new friends and going to different places has been fantastic. The game has changed a little bit. Now there's guys like Cam and Scott who are so technically good. Started off the season with a win. Had 2 seconds and a 3rd place. So 4 races and 4 podiums, which is very consistent, and I'm definitely happy with it. So just trying to finish off the year strong and see if I can go for the World Championship.
Well, after 12 years of racing, starting before the official World Championship and then flowing seamlessly into the World Championship, Reed, I mean, he's looking like he's back in the form he was when he got that World Championship title in 2012. Can he maintain it? We'll find out. So, Reed, I mean, we talk about him often because he's in the mix. Kyle Croxall, what's your call on him this year? I mean, he's looking real good.
Yeah, actually, this is one of the best years I've seen him in a long time. I mean, super consistent. Like I said, he's got 4 podiums in 4 races. Right now in 2nd position for the World Championship. Not bad.
All right, quarter heat number 1, Marco Delago, John Fisher, Robin Whirling, Matt Johnson. Robin Whirling looking fantastic again as he gets out of the gate, and he was in that ugly gate, gets a great start, comes in through the double diamond chicane, battling hard with Marco Delago, the older of the 2 Delago boys. But he managed to hold off the very fast, very slick skater that Marco is. John Fisher sitting in 3rd place, trying to find a line. Johnson goes down like a ton of bricks. Matt Johnson, heavy fall at the top. And Marco Delago makes the outside pass on Robin Whirling.
And Fisher makes a pass.
Fisher makes the pass as well. Unbelievable pass by Fisher. He talked about it in the interview earlier on with Caroline, patience and just looking for that line. How greasy are those 2 guys getting in 1 and 2 when Robin Whirling had such a good start out of the gate?
Yeah, I mean, the whole way down, it looked like Whirling had this one, but you just knew with Fisher and Delago sitting in the rear, they are up to something, and they both know how to keep low and draft on these long, fast sections of track, and that's exactly what they did. You see right there coming off the hip jump, Johnson just goes down, and you see Marco staying super low, Fisher both making a pass at the end. Incredible racing.
That's what we love about ice cross downhill. I mean, it's anybody's guess. Like, anything can happen from top to bottom. You can come out first, have a 50-meter lead on somebody, and lose it because you lost an edge and ended up falling down, or somebody was just gliding when They should have been pedaling. You know, anything can happen. It's awesome. All right, quarterfinal number 2, Mirko Lahti, Danny Guola, Stephen Cox, Skylar Diamond-Berchik. Of course, the fans on the sidelines are really going to be rooting for Stephen Cox, but he's got a real tough heat here. Better reaction time by Cox this time, getting out of the gate quickly. Mirko Lahti, I don't know if I can call that a hole shot. Cox is right there with them. Danny Guola battling hard as they come through the double diamond. Cox pushing and battling to try and save his line. Mirko Lahti out in front. Stephen Cox holding down second place. Danny Guola,
Cox is down.
Cox goes down, and he is in 4th place now. Diamond-Berchik 3rd. Danny Guola in 2nd place. Guola goes down. It's carnage on this heat right now. Cox has an opportunity to try and catch up with Diamond-Berchik. He needs to do it if he wants to make it to the next round. He's in a bit of a tough race, but it's not going to happen. Oh, what an unfortunate turn of events for Stephen Cox as he comes across the line in 3rd place. He's going to be disappointed. And we have a review on course by our video judge, so this one will be delayed in the decision. What a battle there. It was craziness in this heat from top to bottom, Reed.
Yeah, Skylar Diamond-Berchik definitely had a couple Christmas presents given there as both Cox and Guola went down at certain times in the course. It was just an all-out battle. As you see, Cox went down early, Guola over the hip jump, can't quite handle it, goes into the boards, and Berchik was off the races. It looked like Cox was going to make a late comeback there. There we watched Guola just get a little too high over that jump. What an incredible heat.
And Cox probably smelled blood in the water when he saw Guola down and sitting on the ice when he came over that awesome apparel hip jump. Mirko Lahti had that one locked down, so it's just going to be a question about whether or not the video judges saw something up there that was untoward. We'll find out shortly. Pretty sure that this one's going to go to Mirko Lahti. We're just waiting on a final decision.
Protest was dismissed there, as you can see on the screen, so looks like it's me, Lahti and Skylar Diamond-Berchik moving on.
All right. Skylar Diamond-Berchik making the next steps for himself this season, and yeah, he's looking very good today. He's obviously liking this course. This course seems to suit his skating style, and like you said, you know, a couple of Christmas presents there at the top of the course. The same thing happened for him like what happened for Cox in Japan.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody gets those from time to time. It's just part of the race, and you got to get lucky to be good.
Absolutely. So Mirko Lahti, Skylar Diamond-Berchik moving on to the semifinal. So we're just waiting on our final official result. It looked like, yeah, there we go. Mirko Lahti, Skylar Diamond-Berchik. So that just confirms what we were saying after the judges' protest was dismissed. So we'll see them both adding to this semifinal heat number 1, along with Marco Delago and John Fisher. And that is a fun heat right there. Oh my goodness, how hard is that heat in the semis? All right, quarterfinal number 3, Luca Delago, Cameron Naas, Gabriel Michael Romano. Cameron Naas and Luca Delago right next to each other. No bad blood between these two guys, but you know, once they're on course, they're going to be battling hard. Will Luca Delago be able to get out of that gate fast enough to hold off the reigning world champion? Find out. All right, out of the gates they come. Luca Delago trying to find a line there, but he's just a little bit behind Cameron Naas. Oh,
and Luca
goes down. There's a little bit of carnage happening in that double diamond chicane. Cameron out in front, avoids any drama. Gabe Renault in second place now with Luca Delago chasing him hard. Luca was right back up quickly. Luca went far and wide on that awesome apparel hip jump. Now is the question, can he find the speed and the line? Oh, he gets a bit of a push off to the side. That's his own fault right there. And Luca Delago comes across that finish line in third place. So that means he is out in this one after this heat. He will not be moving on to the semifinals. Cameron Naas took that one down, and it was just a battle. They just careened into a heap of humanity going into that first dogleg corner.
Yeah, let's watch this here. It was just a battle. It looked like Romano tied up Luca a little bit, which didn't affect much, but look at how tight everybody was there, and they all pretty much go down. Now, I thought Luca was going to make a good comeback here. It looked like he was going to catch Gabe Renault right at the end, but he kind of took himself out into the boards, slowed himself down, and there was just no chance. Good race by Gabe Renault, staying in first, but poor go for Luca Delago. That's 2 races in a row. He's been a little bit unlucky. Going from the first position to going out in the quarters is not the way he'd like to end it today, but that's the way it goes.
Cameron Naas and Gabe Renault moving on. Luca Delago, Michael Romano eliminated from action here in quarterfinal heat number 3. And so once again, Cameron Naas is 1 step closer to earning an additional 500 points for his overall title hopes. Quarterfinal number 4, Cale Johnstone, the Bearded Wonder, with Antti Tolvanen and Simon Gagnon, and of course Kyle Croxall, who we heard from earlier on, who's been in this game for a long time and looking real good. We have a little bit of a delay at the top of the course, not sure why. Just waiting for our start official to give the guys the go-ahead to lock and load in the gates, and it looks like it has been done. You mentioned Simon Gagnon as one of the old dogs here. He's looking very good as well. Cale Johnstone with a good start. Look at that. Tangles up a little bit with Kyle Croxall's blades, and he had to stop and slow down a little bit. Oh, and some pushing and shoving between Antti Tolvanen and Cale Johnstone as they're really getting onto each other's cases. And now Cale Johnstone's battling in the back there with Simon Gagnon. This one, I think we're going to see review on this at the bottom of the course. Johnstone goes into the boards but doesn't fall down, but that slows him down a lot. Kyle Croxall, the big man, out in front. Antti Tolvanen in second place. I'm really curious to know how this one's going to go down across the finish line, if we will have a review. Antti Tolvanen, Simon Gagnon, Cale Johnstone, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And Cale Johnstone immediately goes over to the finish official and starts waving his hand and saying, protest, protest, protest. So we will see if that gets taken on and or accepted, and it looks like we're going to have to wait and find out as we look back here.
Yeah, it's tough to see from the camera angle, but just the way Cale Johnstone spun around here and pushed on Antti Tolvanen, I think he felt something on the back. Let's watch real closely in this corner here. We see everybody kind of converge together. It looked like there might have been a little pushing there. It's tough to say, but
it looked like Antti Tolvanen might have taken Cale's arm and pushed it over. Can't say though. I mean, that's up to our video judge.
Yeah, regardless, at this last minute pass by Simon Gagnon, no matter what, if Antti was to get DQ'd, Gagnon would be the one moving forward. And
all right, but it doesn't look like there was actually. I mean, you saw Cale Johnstone go over to the side, didn't you? I mean, I saw him go over to the side and talk to the official, but it appears as though it is, in fact, Kyle Croxall and Antti Tolvanen moving on to the semifinals. So, a little surprised by that, to be quite honest with you, but there you see men's semifinals locked and loaded. Delago, Fischer, Latti, Diamond, Burchik in number 1, Naas, Renault, Croxall, Tolvanen in number 2 as we're getting closer to the finish. So if you've ever wondered what it's like to actually skate down one of these tracks, we got a treat for you, as we do with each of the events. We're going to take you down the track with our different riders in the POV run, and you can actually see how fast and furious this sport of ice cross is. So on board now with Yuri Grus as we see Marco Delago out there in front. It looks like Yuri Grus goes down early in this choppy course here, and he's just getting tangled up with a few other guys. This was earlier on in the round of 64. You see way out in front there, it's Marco Delago. Oh, and another view for us. On board with Marco.
Yeah, there's just nothing more incredible than those GoPro views from the front and the back. It just really puts you in the driver's seat of these athletes and sees their headspace.
And I'll also let you know that how fast Marco Delago really is when he gets going. Unbelievable.
No question, he is a master on this track.
Milofsky, his camera, he goes down. Gets right back up though. I'm always impressed at how quickly some of these guys can get back up and keep going.
It's really the name of the game because everybody goes down at some point. You got to find a way to get back and rebound.
And there, Fisher's tied shirt with Andrew Whirling chasing him down.
So cute.
Wow, look at that view of the St. Lawrence River, the ski hill here in La Massif de Charlevoix. It is just fantastic. It's a party atmosphere. It's just an incredible location. And to be really honest with you, they've done a fantastic job here with the course build, and everything just seems to be working so well today. Thankfully, because we had a heavy windstorm last night as we get ready for women's semifinals heat number 1 with Anaïs Morin, Jacqueline Legere. Those two will be battling hard from those middle 2 gates. Those are the favored positions here. Dominique Lefebvre and Clémence Renaud also in here. And I think it's fairly clear, depending on whether or not they can stay on their feet, that we're going to see Anaïs and Jacqueline 1 and 2. Let's just wait though. Good start. Anaïs Morin trying to find the line, and is she going to do it? Oh, she put the brakes on a bit too early, and Jacqueline Legere just held it a little bit longer, and she takes the lead around the double diamond chicane. Jacqueline Legere out in front. Anaïs Morin taking time to adjust her goggles. Not the best plan of attack here as they go through that S-bend section heading towards the Awesome Apparel hip. Nice and clean. Anaïs paddling hard to try and take those strides, and there are those scissor jumps that she just looks funny doing those. But I mean, they work for her, whatever. And Anaïs is in a big battle right now, and whoa, she's in trouble across that finish line. Oh, Dominique Lefebvre, she comes across the finish line with a great final pass on the inside corner and a good glide, and that is a disappointing moment right there for Anaïs Morin. Amazing racing by Dominique. Let's look at this again.
Yeah, one thing, Jacqueline is looking incredible on this track. You know, after not qualifying on the top, you know, Anaïs had a really good qualifying round. It's really good to see Jacqueline really taking off and trying to really go for that world title. Big surprise here at the end, like you said, Troy. Dom taking it away from Anaïs.
Yeah, Anaïs is going to be super disappointed because she's been looking so strong this season, you know, but these are the growing pains in ice cross. So our first two, Jacqueline Legere, Dominique Lefebvre, will be setting up for our women's final. Semi-final number 2 with Amanda Trunzo, Maxie Plante, Alicia Blomberg, and Veronica Vindish. Alicia Blomberg was, for me, a very pleasant surprise how quick she's been on the lower half of the course, and that could pose problems for Amanda Trunzo and Maxie Plante, who are both very quick out of the gate. Wow, long delay on that start. That's got to get the nerves really rocking. But Maxie Plante with a good start again. However, oh, look at that. Amanda Trunzo, solid competitor, moves to the inside line. Maxie Plante trying to catch up to her now in second place with Alicia Blomberg trailing Maxie Plante. We saw Alicia Blomberg has a great push towards the end. If she can catch up with Maxie Plante, she could dash the hopes of the young Canadian to move into another final. Maxie looking good and solid. Amanda Trunzo out in front. Here comes Alicia Blomberg. This is a critical point for Maxie to hold off Alicia. Can she do it? It looks like she's going to manage it. She will manage it. Alicia with one last attempt to come feet first across that finish line and get second place, but she was just too far back from Maxie Plante. So Amanda Trunzo is going to go to yet another final, and Maxie Plante is joining her, and that is going to be a great final if we look at that.
Yeah, and just as we talked about Jacqueline's dominant run before, Trunzo leaves nothing on the table, dominates this heat, makes a really nice pass on Maxie early on after Maxie took the start, and this is setting up to be a really good final as both Maxie, Trunzo, and Jacqueline all are looking phenomenal on this track.
Yeah, definitely. And Dominique Lefebvre, as she is more or less the misnomer in that final, but the way we've seen her skating, there's no messing around with that woman at all. And Maxie Plante, who is going to be in another final, is down in the finish area with Caroline.
Maxie, we've seen what you can do in Japan, and it's looking like you're strong here in Canada.
Yeah, definitely having my friends and family down at the bottom really gave me a boost for sure.
What's the plan for the next round?
I'll give everything I have and just have so much fun.
Well, listen, best of luck.
Thanks so much.
So another final for Maxie Plante, and wow, you know, she's been looking good. Like we've been saying, she's going to have a real tough battle as we look at this lineup. Jacqueline Legere, former world champion. Amanda Trunzo, the reigning world champion. Maxie Plante, she's been good out of the gates. Can she hold that down? And Dominique Lefebvre, who has been a bit of a surprise for us here, doesn't even have a picture up on our wall. I mean, what does that tell you right there? Could she be, you know, the spoiler for all of these ladies?
She's your dark horse. She has to be. As we can see, just a stellar crowd out there today. I mean, people are just into it here, and this track is not disappointing anybody with all the cool features, the high speed at the bottom, and these ruts throwing a little wrench into things. Just can't beat it.
Well, let's not forget, too, that this is a very fast track, like you said, because of the steepness of the track. We're going from 47 meters down, so it's a pretty high, you know, altitude of the track itself as we get set up with semifinal heat number 1. Skylar Diamond-Burchick, far left-hand side, right next to Mirko Latti. Then Marco Delago and John Fisher on the right-hand side of your screen in the pink jersey. Mirko Latti, great start. Man, he reacted so quickly there. Out in front, not much of a lead as here comes Marco Delago around the outside, trying to find a sneaky, greasy inside line, and he does it.
That was a beautiful pass.
That was a beautiful pass. He went wide on it and went inside tight on that post. Oh my goodness, what an amazing pass by Marco Delago. But here comes Fish, trailing behind Mirko Latti. And you know that Fisher can do this. Let's see if he can manage to get himself into a final here. Oh, he does it on the inside line of Mirko Latti just before the finish. And John Fisher, once again, has gotten that crazy inside aerodynamic line, and he'll be joining Marco Delago in the final. Holy smokes, folks, what a race.
Yeah, that was incredible. I mean, Mirko destroyed everybody off the start, and Marco left nothing on the table in that corner. He did not hesitate to make a very aggressive move on the inside. Let's watch it here.
He goes wide.
Yeah, it goes really wide, stays super low, keeps his speed, and makes a two-person pass. Gets a little aggressive there, but everything was completely legit and legal. That was amazing. And then Fisher, like he always does, just sticks in the back. Got some drafting going in this section. He stays really low and makes a nice inside pass on Latti. That was an incredible race.
Fisher, such an intelligent skater. You know, out there, it's unbelievable. And John is down there with Caroline in the finish after that one.
John, you've done it again. What is the key to this success today?
Just stay low, out of the wind, and don't be afraid of being in third for a bit. Just bite your time and it will come.
Is it something special being on home turf here in Canada?
Oh, it's super special being here in Canada. You feel good, you sleep good, you eat good, and you have fun.
Well, good luck.
Thanks.
So Marco Delago and John Fisher moving on to the final, and that means Mirko Latti and Skylar Diamond-Burchick will be competing in the small final. Back to the top of the course we will go, where Kyle Croxall, Cameron Naas, two guys that have been battling all season long for dominance, are in the gate with Gabe Renault and Antti Tolvanen. Antti Tolvanen could be the mix in this one to make things real interesting for the other two guys in the middle gates, Cameron Naas and Kyle Croxall. And I'm really curious to see how these guys will stack up. Two fast starters, two big boys, and two strong skaters in the middle gates there. Good reaction time from Cameron Naas, clearly been working on it. Good line for Kyle Croxall, who's got the momentum. Kyle Croxall takes it here through the double diamond chicane. Cameron Nass right behind him. Gabe Renault in third place. Antti Tolvanen back there in fourth place. He's also a real sneaky skater as he tries to go around the outside, gaining some momentum for the Awesome Apparel hip. Manages to catch up a little bit, but it's Kyle Croxall and Cameron Nass 1 and 2 respectively as they come down and will cross that finish line to move on to the final. And again, Kyle and Cameron will be battling in a 500 race in the final, just like they did in Mont-du-Lac. And Kyle Croxall had the luck of the draw in Mont-du-Lac.
Yes, he did, and it went the other way last week in Japan with Cameron taking it by a toe. I mean, Kyle really is looking smooth on this track. He's such a powerful skater, really good in the technical sections, and he has that big body and weight to keep in front of the guys. Well, from what I saw here, he is going to be tough to beat in the final. You can see everybody getting really low. It's really tight at this point coming through that chicane, but then Nas and Croxall just are off to the races and really take control of this heat as it gets more and more spread out towards the finish. There's that nice hip feature. You see everybody staying low. So easy to get pushed to the outside there and hit the boards, but everybody was really clean in that hip. And there's our finish with Kyle taking the win.
Yeah, that's some elite skating right there. And what I noticed is that Cameron's reaction time out of the gate was just like, I don't want to say a second, but it was like milliseconds ahead of everybody else, and that was a big deal. But, you know, those first few strides by Kyle Croxall to get that line going into that chicane, and he really, I mean, he went for it, balls to the wall, to get through that line very clean and quick. So there you go. That's the men's final, locked and loaded. Marco Delago, John Fisher, Kyle Croxall, and Cameron Nass. That is a big one. All right, so the fans here enjoying the beautiful weather and the fantastic racing. And speaking of fantastic racing, up first we have our women's final. Amanda Trunzo, Jacqueline Legere, the reigning and former world champions. Maxie Plante, she's not in the mix for a world championship title this year, but as we said, she could play spoiler. And Dominique Lefebvre, who has been a very surprising addition to this final. It is, by the way, her first ever final in ice cross.
Yeah, this is huge, Troy, leading into Russia with Jacqueline just 125 points ahead of Amanda Trunzo. Big difference maker here this final.
All right, so here we have our women lined up at the top of this course here in Le Massif de Charlevoix. This is the Red Bull Ice Cross World Championship, an ATSX 500 event. There you see on the left-hand side, Maxie Plante, who is a pilot in her normal job. So she flies up in the Northern Territory areas there, as you heard earlier on in her interview. And right next to her in the black, we see Amanda Trunzo, the reigning world champion. Next to her in the white and pink is Jacqueline Legere, and then Dominique Lefebvre, who is getting everybody in the audience pumped up. She's having fun with this one. No pressure on her. She can just enjoy the race. And here we go. They are out on course. And once again, Maxie Plante with a good start. Takes a bit of an early cruise and allows Amanda Trunzo to carve around that corner at the double diamond chicane into first place. And now she's got her work cut out for her if she wants to catch up with Amanda Trunzo, who's a very, very good skater. And you can see how choppy that is through that corner there.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for everybody to catch up. Trunzo is just off to the races right now, but Maxie could do some drafting at the end here and make a final push.
Here comes Jacqueline Legere trying to find a line to get those points. Those are necessary points for her. Oh my goodness, very close at the finish line. And I think Amanda knows that she won it, but it could be photo finish with Maxie pushing hard to try and get those skates across the finish line just before Amanda. And of course, Jacqueline Legere comes across in third place there. She held down that position. Unfortunately, she just wasn't fast enough out of the gate, and Amanda Trunzo can celebrate yet another win as she gives high fives to the audience on the sideline there. Very, very good race from Amanda, and I thought Maxie might actually dive to the inside at the start a little bit more. We'll have to look at that start one more time in slow-mo and just see what the decision was. I think she just started gliding too soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's all foot race there, and she was on the far outside. She really needs to cut in front of Trunzo and take advantage of that start to slow her down, because as you can see what happened, if you don't slow her down, she is gone. But watch right here, Maxie has a little bit ahead. Now, she could have eased over and possibly pinched off Trunzo right here, but she did not do that, and that really cost her for the race. Jacqueline was in the back, never really had a good moment to make a pass, as it was just between Trunzo and Maxie coming into that finish, with Trunzo just leading off. Looking real good in this track. Congrats to her.
Yeah, but Maxie was definitely the fastest of the 4 women out of the gate. There's no two ways about it. But like you say, she could have just slid over to her left and pinched off Trunzo in that first corner, and it might have been a different outcome here.
Absolutely. See, right at the end here, she takes the outside, gets a couple extra strides, and it was a close finish, but just not
very
enough.
Close. I'm even shifting over to the side here to see along the red line at the finish. Super close, but another podium from Maxie Plante, another top position for Amanda Trunzo, and of course, we're going to have some good points going for her into the Russian events. All right, and we are going to hear from Amanda Trunzo now, who is in the finish area with Caroline.
Amanda, congratulations. You have won it here in Canada.
Yeah, it feels great. That was a really tough heat. You have 3 of the top 6 girls in the world right there, so it felt really good to get the win here in Quebec.
Yeah, we saw what happened in Yokohama. It looked tight here, but Trunzo is back.
Yeah, I needed that here, ending the season. Needed some points back. A little inconsistent on the gate start, so felt good to have some good ones here.
Is that what you're going to be doing in Moscow? Concentrating on gate starts, because overall in the World Championship it's looking good.
Yeah, it's looking really good. Yeah, you know, I have some time here off to work on the gate starts, get my body back right. It's been a long February month here, so I'm really looking forward to it.
And I mean, the women's category is just going from strength to strength. Is there anyone in particular, or maybe a couple of people that you've really got your eye on?
Yeah, you know, Jacqueline's right there with me. 2-time world champion behind me, so I know she's going to be digging for it too. But you can't take anyone for granted. Everyone's super good on tour, and yeah, it's a strong category.
Well, listen, you are the winner here in Quebec, so a massive congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
So, Amanda Trunzo takes the win here in Quebec. Some much needed points after a bit of a disappointing race in Japan. She'll add 500 points to her wallet of points. And I mean, it was a good race by her, Reed. You can't deny it.
No, I mean, when Caroline said Trunzo is back, I mean, I feel that really happened. She needed this win. She needed this confidence going to the last race. It really sets up the perfect battle for Moscow, for the women's.
It's a momentum change, could be a momentum change. We see this quite often, but Jacqueline is still definitely in the mix. She was 125 points, I believe, ahead of Trunzo after this event. Jacqueline will get 3rd place points here, so that's definitely going to have an effect on the scores. So we'll have to see what the overall is after this event is done. And now we're going to hear from Maxie Plante, who is also at the finish area with Caroline.
Maxie, 2nd time on the podium. From last weekend to this weekend, 1st place and now 2nd place. I mean, you're on a roll.
I am. I wasn't expecting that this year, but 3 podiums in 3 races, and I'm feeling great. I'm giving everything, and I'm having so much fun this year.
Does it mean something? Is it extra special? I mean, you mentioned earlier that your friends and family are here.
Yeah, definitely. It's my best year so far. My friends and family are here. They're so proud of me. They're supporting me since the first race I started 6 years ago, and now being here in front of them, proving them that I can do well is a good feeling.
Is there something that you're doing that's different? What is the key to these podium finishes?
I think I'm focusing more on myself than on other people around me. I think that's the key.
Well, listen, you're a fan favorite. You're a favorite with all of the other athletes. Massive congratulations.
Thank you so much, and merci au Massif d'être ici.
All right. So Amanda Trunzo takes away the 500 points. Maxie Plante 450, Jacqueline Legere 400. Those are all going to pad their scores for Amanda Trunzo and Jacqueline Legere. It's more important to have those points other than Maxie Plante. And Maxie Plante, as I did say, is a bit of a spoiler here, taking away a possible 450 that would have gone to Jacqueline Legere in the case that, you know, maybe Maxie wasn't as good as she was. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting last couple of races as we head over to Moscow. All right, and finally, our third place woman on the podium, Jacqueline Legere, is down in the finish area with Caroline.
Jacqueline, a third place podium finish for you. Walk me through that race at the end there.
That race was really tight the entire way. I was in third from the beginning, and I attempted to make a couple passes, but it was tough. So I'm happy with the podium finish, and yeah, it was super fun.
It will obviously affect the World Championship points. What is the strategy going into the final races of the season?
Just how it goes every time. You just try to focus one race at a time and do your best and have clean runs. So it'll stay interesting, that's for sure.
I mentioned to Amanda that the women's category is going from strength to strength. Are there any particular rivals that you've really got to look out for, or that maybe you've been surprised with this season?
I've actually been surprised a lot. There's a lot of good skaters out now. All the semifinals have been really tough, so I don't doubt anyone, and I'm just focusing on me and trying to get first and second and move on to the final.
Well, listen, you're a wonderful competitor. It's always a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so next up we have our men's final. This one's got Marco Delago, Kyle Croxall, Cameron Nass, John Fisher. I don't know, Reed. This is anybody's guess. I mean, obviously the favorite here is Cameron Nass, but Kyle Croxall has spoiled the party for Cameron before in Mont-du-Lac at a 500.
Absolutely, and Marco Delago qualified first. He's looking phenomenal on this track, showing he can make some aggressive passes when he's in the back. And we can't discount John Fisher. I mean, look what he's done in the final meters of this track time and time again with the drafting.
Yeah, I mean, John Fisher right there. This kid, unbelievable. So smart on course. He's been able to pass from fourth and third place into, positions that get him into the next round. And then, of course, there's a former world champion, Marco Delago. I mean, this guy is fast, he's competitive, he's aggressive in the corners, he can make those greasy passes. 2012 world champion Kyle Croxall, big boy, obviously been working hard on his starts. That's a huge thing here. And then the reigning world champion and three-time world champion Cameron Nass. He is just a machine. His starts have been good because he's reacted faster, but if Kyle Croxall can get that reaction time a little bit quicker, it might be an elbow to hip action for these two going into that first corner. But Marco is quick out of those gates as well. So our Red Bull Ice Cross World Championship ATSX 500 is lined up. There you see the lineup one more time. Cam Nass, Kyle Croxall, Marco Delago, John Fisher. Here we go. Good start this time by Kyle Croxall. Looks like he might get the lead as he tries to pinch off Marco Delago. There's been a lot of drama between the Croxalls and the Delagos, and this time Kyle's out in front with Marco Delago in second place. Cam Nass sitting back there in fourth with a very tough guy to pass, John Fisher, and Marco Delago loses a little bit of an edge there, giving Fisher the chance to try and play catch-up. Fisher, very good over the awesome apparel hip jump. Kyle Croxall out in front, Marco Delago right behind him, John Fisher. Oh, Marco Delago makes an unbelievable pass around the side, and Kyle Croxall will get those feet across the finish line in first, and there is some drama going on between the guys right now. John Fisher goes over there to intermediate and make sure they separate. Oh, man, what a fight to the finish line. Marco Delago comes around the outside, but it was Kyle Croxall's feet going across the finish line first. It's probably going to come down to a photo finish. I'm pretty sure of that, and we'll see. And Cameron Nass was fourth place in that heat, so that's going to be a major, major change there for him, because if, in fact, Kyle Croxall does get the full 500 points for this race, that should put him in first overall.
Yeah, this just changes everything. I mean, I don't think anybody was expecting Cameron Nass be in the fourth position. Really good start by all the riders. Kyle Croxall, like we said, looking super stellar on this course. Marco too, I mean, it was an awesome race right down to the finish. It looked to me like Marco Delago was gonna make a clean pass for the win, and I'm not sure what happened. We got to see this replay here, because it looked like him and Kyle got kind of tied up together as they both fell across that finish line. Let's watch Kyle coming over this, hit the boards, which slowed him down a little bit. I think that's what allowed Marco to gain some speed here at the end. Coming into the finish, let's watch this here.
So one corner just at the finish line that he managed to take an outside line. It looked really good right here. And there's the battle between the two of them.
Yeah, it looked like that was just kind of a back and forth. I don't think really anybody's at fault there. It looked like Kyle blocked Marco a little bit, Marco blocked Kyle a little bit. Combination, just a hard-fought battle between both of them, and a solid win for Kyle Croxall.
And Kyle's with Caroline in the finish area.
Kyle, what a dramatic final. Talk me through exactly what happened.
Yeah, I got an unreal gate start. Pretty happy about that. All those guys are pretty quick, so got the lead right away. Took a little spill almost off the hip and hit the boards, but maintained my speed. Marco almost passed me at the end and had a little battle and got out front.
Yeah, there was a little battle. There seems to be some tension on the finish line. The feud seems to be continuing. What happened there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've seen that guy hit people from behind and do so many things here and there in every race, so I was ready for him to come, and I was expecting him to either push me or pull me, so we battled for position, which you're allowed to do, and I got out front.
Well, it was a battle, and you have won it here at home. And as I said earlier, Quebec is a special place. How does it feel to have won it here?
Yeah, it feels amazing. I mean, back at home, I wanted to get on top again here. I was really hungry for it after Japan coming second again, so it worked out for me, and I'm pretty happy to be here.
Now, this really helps you in the overall standings. What's the mindset going into the rest of the season, especially Moscow?
Yeah, I've got one race left, which is Moscow, so I'm going to start training for that. It's a long track. Got to have the stamina up and be ready. So I'm just going to try and get on top of that podium.
Well, listen, massive congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, so Kyle Croxall gets a trophy here for that 500 points, and Cameron Naas, even though he got fourth place, he still enjoys spraying his friend with a beverage here in the finish area. They are good friends, they train together, and he knows that he's got a battle on his hands the rest of the way through. Now, if I did my math correctly, Kyle and Cam should either be tied for first place, or Kyle will be just 50 points ahead of Cameron in the overall standings. Don't quote me on that, folks, because I'm not a math guy, but we'll see when we do finally see the overall standings. And there you see Kyle Croxall with the 500 points, Marco Delago 450, John Fisher with the 400, Cameron Naas with 350. So I do believe they will be tied for the overall titles points. That's going to make it really interesting in Russia.
Yeah, I mean, we're used to over the last few years seeing Cameron Naas and Scott Croxall competing for that title back and forth. Now Kyle is back on top. You know, it's just leading to an incredible season finale here in Moscow.
All right, and we should see Scott Croxall back in the mix when we hit Moscow, Russia. In the meantime, Marco Delago is in the finish area with Caroline.
Marco, I spoke to Kyle. It was a dramatic finish. Give me your side.
Yeah, Kyle can say whatever he wants. He pulled me back. It was my win. He took it away. And again, a Croxall guy does something stupid. That's all I can say about this.
Okay, dramatic and controversial. What is the mind frame going into Moscow after here?
There's absolutely nothing controversial about this. I was past him and he pulled me back, and that's it. Yeah, and the season is... Yeah, I don't care about the season now. It's just... Yeah, I can't... I don't know.
Okay, well, listen, Marco, congratulations for a podium finish anyway.
Thank you.
Wow, them's fighting words right there. I mean, Marco Delago clearly upset with the way that that one went down. Thinks he won it. Your opinion on that one?
Yeah, definitely a lot of tension there between the two athletes. From our video angles, it really looked like a battle between both of them. Tough to comment on what happened there, but all I can say is it did look like Marco had the speed for a clean pass, and they did get kind of tangled up. So something happened there. It looked like a back and forth, but either way, here's our standings.
All right, so Cameron Naas and Kyle Croxall do in fact have the same number of points as we head towards Moscow, Russia, and Igora, Russia. Luca Delago, he is well back now after getting knocked out earlier on. 1,900 points. I mean, really, at this point, there's not much chance for him to move up in the world rankings unless the top 2 guys just decide to stop skating now. So it's going to be a battle between Cameron and Kyle, and we're going to have one more look at this battle to the finish line between Marco. Now, it looked like Marco was going down a little bit there. I don't know. It seemed like Marco was coming around hot and might have been already on his way down. I didn't pay attention to the hands of Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, what I saw there is actually Marco coming around and Kyle's hand kind of pulling him back a little bit. It's tough to say if that was just where he was position-wise or if Kyle was actually doing some blocking there.
Yeah, tough call.
Tough call.
So Jacqueline Legere in the overall standing, still staying on top with 2,550 points. Not far behind, though, is Amanda Trunzo. And we know that Miriam Trepanier is expecting a little one with her partner and has opted to not skate the rest of the season. So she will no longer be in the mix. And Anaïs Morin with 1950 after the next 2 races, if she can hold on, will move up into 3rd place in the overall standings. We'll have to see how that all boils down with 2 more events to go, and that is going to be interesting. A lot of action still to come, though, because up next on the Red Bull Ice Cross World Championship, the ATSX 500 from Igora, Russia, before we cap off our season with the big final ATSX 1000 live from Moscow, where we will crown the men's, women's, and junior world champions, and that is going to be a lot of fun and a lot of action. So for Caroline DeMoras and Reed Whiting, I'm Troy Mannering, signing off from the beautiful resort of Le Massif de Charlevoix in Quebec, Canada. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Hope you guys had a great time. We'll see you next time in Russia.